those subscriptions going as soon as possible. I'm not so much concerned for the second semester because you've already looked at all the safety stuff and we've briefed on it, but I need you to read it again. Just go through it again. So just do that for every class. And I got to do a little bit of polishing on the grinding in gears. All I did was load enough assignments to get you sort of started. Okay. So when you come in, it's got a kind of a new look as opposed to last year. And I have here, now if you come in and the first thing you see are announcements. And the last announcement I published was there's that. I'm still wondering if I even had audio on this. So you can get started on the grinding one right away.
Right.
I hope this worked.
Yeah, just after the readings, it seems like it doesn't seem it'd be that hard to make a diagram for a gear train of 4 different gears, but it
No.
seems.
And if you bump into Jesse, you can ask him where the there's like a little application on the internet that lets you plug in different things. It's really kind of cool.
Okay.
And I forget what it's called, grinding gears. But when you get to that, I would suggest do the readings first, get the theory behind you,
Yeah.
and then we'll point out where that application is on the. It's a freebie, so you don't even have to. It just does it right on there. Or if you start Google gear design or something, it'll show you, free gear design module. So that's all that one is. It's really, like I said, it's just meant to be an intro. It is meant to get you some basic theory of both topics. I'm actually next year going to break them into 2 separate 1 credit classes. Because they can stand on their own, the topics should really stand on their own. And gear making, we have a lot of gear houses in the area. We have a lot. There's about 5 that I can think of right off the top of my head.
That's a lot.
So, okay, now tooling and work holding, similar class. Probably a little less machining and a little more theory, design, and kind of open to where you might want to spend a little extra time that learning about fixture design, maybe learning to use the CAD CAM to design a fixture.
Right.
But I talked with you briefly, I think last week, and asked if you wouldn't mind helping me as part of the tooling class, just to keep track and maintain the kits. So that counts for the tooling class, right? Because we're going to need to make sure that all of our tooling, as far as cutting tools goes, is in those kits, inventoried and just looked after. We might have to sharpen some of them. So that, as I said, whenever you get a chance, if you want to, get into the shop tomorrow, that you can start looking at those kits, make sure that the inventory is, in there. And that the taps are good and the drills are sharp. And if they're not, did you sharpen any of the drills last semester? No? We'll show you how that drill sharpener works, and maybe you can keep those maintained. But so much of the stuff we're doing is in aluminum, so it's not a big problem. But so that's part of the class I'd like you to do, and we'll consider that. Again, normally I have and then also the lathe tools as I'm thinking about it, because we have a bunch of different lathe tools, and part of tooling, what I want you to get to know is that coding scheme for the insert tools. So the turning tools we use, for example, are MDC, NLR. That all means something. That the kind of tool, the kind of rake, the kind of insert. So and that's really just looking at tool catalogs, figuring out. And I have a nice printed catalog that you can use when you want to start maybe looking into that. So that's part of the class, to get to know that. And the lathe tools, of course, maintaining those inserts, understanding the boring insert, 35-degree diamond, 50-degree diamond. It's all part of those codes, that standard nomenclature for tools. So if I bring that class up now, and I just, one last thing I want to mention about grinding and gears. If you have more of an interest in grinding, less in gears, let's talk. Then we'll say, all right, let's not do a gear train. Let's just do 1 gear for you, and then you can spend more time grinding, or kind of see how your readings go on the gear side. Or alternately, if you prefer not to do grinding, that's okay too. Good news is there's plenty of time to kind of tailor that class for what interests you the most. So as you get into it. So tooling and work holding, Um, this class, again, here's these safety modules, of course. The big assignment up front is what I call a research paper. Now, this doesn't have to be done up front. It doesn't have to be completed. It's something you can work on all semester. I just going to want to have it at the end. And what this involves is a fixture design. And it also involves you exploring the concept of fixturing and different kinds of work holding. All we actually did was use a chuck or a vise, right?
Right.
So to get and be aware of the drawbacks of those work holding, especially in the vise, I kind of created this research paper to have you go and do a, now again I got to update this. I'm going to update that with online readings. I think they're further down here, but these Hoffman Hopwell books, I'm going to change that to some modules. But there is here's your deliverables. Make a technical drawing, a little bit better than a sketch. So dimensions, 3 views, multiple views. Using straight edges, circle templates, etc. I don't think I have any of those things here, but I'll probably get some, and then we can have that for the class, or if you have them at home. Of your fixture, I want you to design a fixture to handle, there's this drawing here called Semi-Precision 1. Maybe you remember making it. Okay? Yeah. Now, this particular part presents a problem doing it in class. So if you were doing pretty much that's the one hands-on thing there. Here's a littler assignment, a smaller one. Again, I'll replace it with online readings, but here we're talking about oak lamps, step lamps, and just give me a write-up with sketches. It can also be more of a sketch. Just like one page worth. So what are the one does I want you to explore what that's kind of, and you know, a 3-page paper, you probably do that in your sleep. At APA, you know, but I'm going to be looking for what you're saying. You know, I want to see ideas and thoughts, and not regurgitate stuff that you cut and paste from.
Right.
Well, this is a fixture. This is a dowel. This is, you know, I don't want that. I want your thoughts on that and what research you brought in and what knowledge you gained and how you synthesized those things into a new concept. That's what I'm looking for. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
Sound easy enough?
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah.
It's very simple, but it also seems a little bit more complicated.
Oh, here I have a list of Tooling U modules. I already have them there. Oh, and they're embedded already, too, I think. Nice, okay. But I'll clean that up, and I'll remove the references to that workbook and this here, that Hopwell. That's that blue textbook. Did you buy one of those last year?
No, I did not.
Yeah, okay, good.
All right.
All right, so that's that. How'd you guys do out there on the saw?
We got 2x2 squares. We're trying to figure out, because it's 2 by 1.5. So I'm like,
Yeah, so you did them 2 by 2, huh?
yeah, we didn't realize, so we like got them all.
Yeah, you got to measure once, right? No, wait, measure twice.
Oh, but we're supposed to cut them by.
It is 1.5 by 1.5 by 2. So in this case, the mill stock was 2, so you only needed to cut 1.5, like the sample piece that I did.
So he was only supposed to cut it 1.5.
1.5. So
Oh, that's
yeah, 1/2 by 1.5 by 2. In this case, the 2 inches is the stock size.
Are they too small to cut again, or are they?